The indictment, trial, and conviction of crime author Michael Peterson for the killing of his wife Kathleen are chronicled in The Staircase. She was discovered dead at the foot of the stairwell of their North Carolina house in December 2001. At the time, Peterson was the only person in the house who had been convicted of her murder. Welcome back to Documentary Recap. In today's video, we'll be going through a French television miniseries documenting the trial of Michael Peterson, a novelist convicted of murdering his wife as she fell down the staircase named The Staircase, released in the year 2004. Michael Peterson contacted 9/11 on December 9, 2001 to report that his wife Kathleen had fallen down the stairwell at their opulent Durham, North Carolina house. The Petersons appeared to be a formidable duo. He was a successful novelist and she worked for a major telecommunications corporation as an executive. Michael stated that he had been by the pool. Kathleen had entered the premises. When he returned home at 2:30 a.m., he saw his wife in a pool of blood at the bottom of the stairs, hardly breathing. While he was on the phone with the 911 operator, she died in his arms. Peterson claims that his wife had mixed drink and Valium and had lost her balance. When police arrived, though, they believed it looked more like a murder scene than an accident. There was an excessive amount of blood. Kathleen's and Michael's clothes had been drenched through. Kathleen died between 90 minutes to 2 hours, according to the coroner, and her injuries were consistent with hits from a blunt object. The only individuals in the house were Kathleen and Michael. He was the most logical suspect. The Spectator and the filmmakers watch as the case against Michael Peterson is established in real time. A tour of the residence is given to us. We meet Michael's 4 children from his first marriage, all of whom claim that their stepfather was devoted to them. We meet the prosecution team and watch the graphic footage from Kathleen's death. Throughout the trial preparations, the blood-streaked staircase remains intact, serving as a continual reminder of Kathleen's death. We're there as Michael's attorneys discover he's bisexual, which throws the defense case into disarray. Kathleen, he alleges, was aware of his sexuality and agreed to an open marriage. Prosecutors, on the other hand, claimed that her discovery of his hidden life was the catalyst for her murder. The revelation sparked a schism in the family. Caitlin, Kathleen's daughter, initially backed Michael but changed her mind after learning that he had many indiscretions while married to her mother. She grew separated from her stepfather and step-siblings as she withdrew herself from the family. In one of the most shocking twists, it's revealed that Michael is linked to the murder of another woman found at the foot of a staircase. The birth of his 2 adopted kids, Martha and Margaret. Michael was also the last person who had seen her alive. The filmmaker then transported us to Germany, where they follow Michael's lawyers as they investigate the circumstances behind this woman's death. According to the official story, Michael and his first wife dined with their acquaintance Elizabeth Ratliff at her home one night in 1985. Michael stayed over to assist Elizabeth by putting her 2 small girls to bed before returning home. The nanny discovered Elizabeth's lifeless body at the bottom of the stairway the next morning. After weeks of suffering from terrible migraines, Elizabeth suffered a brain hemorrhage, which killed her and caused her to fall down the steps, according to an autopsy. Michael and his wife adopted Elizabeth's orphan daughters, and the girls stayed with Michael after the couple split. Michael's arrest raised additional questions about Elizabeth's death. Elizabeth's daughters, who had always supported the man they had always considered their father, agreed to the exhumation of their mother's body for further research. They were hoping that the outcome would clear Michael's name, but that didn't work out. A jury found Michael guilty of murder after one of the longest trials in North Carolina history. He was sentenced to death and to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Michael's appeals process was exhausted once he was in prison. One may think that's where the narrative would stop. That's not the case. The documentary resumes 8 years after the guilty verdict was handed down. One of the prosecution's major witnesses, Duane Deaver, committed perjury throughout the trial, which has now been revealed. Deaver, a State Bureau of Review analyst, lied about his bloodstain analysis training. According to an independent investigation, Michael's case was retried. Michael and his lawyers, on the other hand, were hesitant to go through the entire process again. They agreed to an Alford plea in which Michael admitted guilt but denied wrongdoing. Michael was then freed with credit for time already served. What are your thoughts about this documentary? Comment below.